This is my mechanical list to do here for the step van, and it feels so good to cross this one off my list. This is the killer dowel pin on my Cummins engine. The killer dowel pin is a scary name, and it's for a scary tiny little thing. It's a tiny pin on the front of the engine block of the Cummins diesel engine, and in certain models, which mine is one of those, it will vibrate out and fall into the timing gears and destroy the engine. Today I'm going to be working with my friend Badge, the amazing handyman and heavy-duty diesel mechanic, and he worked for years and years on big diesel engines, and Cummins is one of his personal favorites. My Cummins engine is a 1996. It's put in the Freightliner chassis here and then a Grumman-Olson body on top of it. Right here it says 12 valve Cummins killer dowel pin. So Cummins has an entire page devoted to this, and you can see down here that it's most prolific in 1994 to 1998 model year trucks. Mine's 1996, right in this sweet zone. My plan is to open this up with the help of Badge. I have a kit that I purchased on Amazon. Put a link below if you want to get that. It's about $100, and it includes a 35-cent part, which is the actual fix, plus the gaskets that are involved to put everything back together. Badge has arrived at my rig here, and we're setting up. I have my hood open. A little bit of wind today. Apologize for the wind noise. And we're getting ready to do the killer dowel pin repair. Have any thoughts, Badge?
I don't really like pulling the engine apart out in the field or anything, but I'm hoping that it'll be really quick. The reason for the killer dowel pin is it's a very expensive deal. What it is, one of the dowel pins that goes between the cover and the block, it backs out and it drops down into the timing gear, and the engine stops right now and takes out everything in its way. Most of the time it costs you a motor. So that's what this is like a preventive maintenance thing is all it is. And then we're talking around the campfire one night, and Seven tells me that he got an estimate that I just shake my head, because it's like way over, like they're talking 2 days work or 3 days work and I don't know what it is. After it all the smoke clears, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I got a bet with Seven I'll cut it in half, so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it will. I haven't been wrong yet, so why would I start now? But that's where we're, and it's good for you guys to see this, because nobody's going to show you this stuff. We're starting, what is it, like noon now? So I'm hoping by supper we should have it done, so we'll see.
All right, wish us luck here. We're starting out. I'm going to give Badge as much help as he wants on this, or stand back and stand clear if he's in his turbo super fast NASCAR mechanic mode.
Everybody's wondering why I'm taking the rad instead of fighting with my big fat belly over there. This has got 2 bolts on the bottom, 2 steer, 2 bolts here, 2 hoses for the air-to-air, and the 2 rad hoses, and 2 tranny hoses underneath. Now they're all loose, and out she comes. She'll be out of there in a minute. And then we're going to talk about the water pump, because the water pump's jammed right under there, and I'm going to ask Seven when's the last time you put a water pump on. He ain't going to know. So right now is the time to do it, because it's no labor, because you're already in there, right? We'll show you that later. The rad's got to come up and out, and with the fan there it can't. So I'm taking the fan off, and that you have to take these out of the way, these 2 tubes. These are your dipstick tubes, and the fan will come right out through there. And then me and Seven will lift that right off.
Mr. Badge, tell me what's going on.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, now as you see, we got the rad off. These are the hoses for the transmission. Now you make sure you cap them or put some rags on so no dirt gets in there. Now if you see what I was talking about, there's the water pump right there. So there's 2 bolts holding it on, and while we're in there, off it comes. He's got a pulley, new tensioner, new belt, so we're not worried about that. The alternator is really easy to get at, so we're not really worried about that. And this is, I really just took it apart so I can get my bar on the tensioner. You know the tensioner works like this, right? Well, some of them are really tight to get in, so if you take a pry bar with a hook on it, stick it in there, and pry it up, you can get the belt off if this is stripped out. That's just something that nobody will tell you. And then you take the belt off. But yeah, I think that. There we go. So what we're going to do is take the pulley off, which is already off. We already took the bolts out. It doesn't matter what way these go, it doesn't matter. And this is the tensioner for the idler for the fan, water pump, and the crankcase. Now this is the issue right here. On the crank, they got 4 bolts holding it on. They're soft. Now if you go in there and nail them with an impact, the chances are you'll round them off. So you don't do that. Use a socket and a ratchet. Now this one here is, some people put the power steering or an oil filter or something in here. This one don't have that. So basically what we're doing is we're going in behind there. So go grab a coffee and we'll be there. We'll come back when we're in there. Okay? We're back with the front off it. Now, the good thing about doing this 5.9 Cummins is you see the pulley. You don't need a puller on it. That was the key to it, right? Because some you need a puller and you have to have a special seal installer like the 8.3s and that. You got to be very careful. This one here has got a dry seal, but we can put it in. I'll show you how to do that. Now what you do is you move over to the front and you take a, if you never had it apart about, take a picture of the front of the engine. And that'll tell you where all your bolts go. This way we're all lucky because they're all the same, right? So we're not a problem. But some will have a stud on it and nuts and all that. So you take a picture of it and that way you will know where they go. And you don't have to remember stuff like me. Now you got it all apart and that's it, baby, right there. All there is them 2 bolts and then you just pry it off. There's your water pump off. Put a new one on. That's one more crisis that you just got rid of. So that's how big hard the water pump is. And you can get these anywhere, O'Reilly's, anywhere. All it is, put the O-ring on. You don't have to line up or nothing and put her back in. You just saved yourself a ton of money because most of the time it's like a 3-hour job. Okay, now you see what I was talking about, the bolts, right? Because you take the bolts out, and you got long bolts and you got short bolts. So now I have a picture of the long bolts. And this one here comes down to that spot, because that's an oil one. So you got to be very careful about that one. And these are all long bolts, right? And all the rest are short. So if you do that, you'll find, well, you can't really put them in there anyway. So, but you just take a picture of it and Bob's your uncle. Now we got it like this. Just pull the bolts out. Now this is where it gets tricky because you have to, you don't want to leave this open too long, right? So even if we don't get it finished today, we'll cover it all up. That's about how hard it is. Okay, boys and girls, you see that? It's just like 7 just won the lottery. Look at that. Look at how far that dowel's out. That's the one we're after right there. See that? Now watch this. There. He just won the lottery. That was pulley, that was halfway out. So he just saved himself a ton of money. A ton. Okay, so this is a dowel here that we're talking about, the killer dowel. Now they give you a new one, but this one's really tight, so we'll just use this. But now, this is a plate, okay? A little diamond plate, looks like a pin on a map, this here piece. So you take this bolt out of here, and you put this clip on there, and that holds that dowel in there. Now the problem is the dowel will come out into the timing gear and take out everything here. Everything. The oil pump, the whole 9 yards. So that's why they call it the killer dowel pin. And it was over halfway out. So I would almost say that 7 probably just won the lottery. So that's the killer dowel pin, and that's all there is to it. What do we got into this? 2 hours now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Under 2 hours, like an hour and 40.
Yeah, and that's all it is to it. That's all. Now we got to clean all this up, and we got a new gasket, and we'll put it all together. Done like supper. So, you know, I can't say much more about it because the plate goes on there. You just tighten it up to 30, 40 foot-pounds. Take a check at all the nuts and bolts while you're in there, and it's all good. Check the other dowels. There's only that one that usually, because the rest of them won't come out. So most of them, the rest of them are in aluminum. That doesn't, they're what they call deadheads. You can't see them. That's all there is. Now this seal here is what they call a dry seal. You don't put it on with oil at all. You can put a little bit on the outside, but make sure it doesn't get on the lip. And this cone, don't take that out until you put it on the engine, because it goes on the engine like that there, and then when you push it on, you go one swoosh, and in it goes. You can't put it in, take it off, put it in. You gotta one swoosh and it goes in. That's what this collar's for. Now this collar, they give you the pound on it because they don't have a seal installer. Well, they do, but you don't have a seal installer, so you put that and a piece of flat wood, and then you just put her right home. Now these are pretty good fit, so you don't really have to put a whole bunch of sealing on them. Just put that on there and then tap it down. What you do is you just put it flat with the flush with the top, right? That's just like that. And that's what the depth, it gives you the depth and everything, right? And then you just put your sleeve back in there, your sleeve's already in there, and you just put it back home. That's all you do. Now, after you get it in, if you want, you can put a little bit of silicone around the outside edge here. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then that's it. Just put her up there and whew, home she goes. When people quote you a number, just go check it out, is all I'm saying. Now, he got quoted 2 days on this, and we got it back together already. And we're not even into this 3 hours. Just check it out. Like, you know, I'm not saying everybody will rip you off. I'm just saying that they want to make a lot of money off you. And there's not a lot of honest people out there. So just check it out. I wasn't even going to do this. 7 just off the blue said, oh, yeah, I'm going to do the killer dowel pin. It's 12 hours. I'm thinking, well, I don't know what I'm going to do for the other 9, but okay. But just check it out. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying everybody's crooked. I'm just saying check it out. Because right now, you can see from 7, take a picture of it, and we're right back. The killer dowel pin's done. It's got the new seal in, and it's all resealed.
One of the tips I was told to do is to write on the front of this cover here that the KDP, the killer dowel pin repair, has been done, and then put the date. That way, if there's ever an owner in the future, they don't have to pull this apart just to find out that this has already been done. So I think that's a real important tip. We made a quick trip into town, picked up a new water pump. Badge noticed that when we pulled mine out, that it had a slight leak, so we're going to repair that while we're in there. $60 part, might as well do it because all the labor, it's not not going to cost us any more in labor. So we're going to get that done. We'll probably have another 45 minutes or something like that to wrap things up. We're going to do a little bit more today and then just wait till tomorrow when it's a little bit cooler and drop the radiator back in. New water pumps in. I think that took Badge about 3 minutes.
Yeah, about that. We slowed down a bit. We had to have a coffee. When
Actually,
you put it on, you make sure that you spin it so that you can feel if it hits or anything, right? Seven's so excited, so I think we're just going to call it a day and we'll get back at it tomorrow. And like we said, we're back in less than 3 hours and it's all right to hear us.
I also want to recommend that you check out Badge's channel if you're looking for tips and tricks, anything for stuff like you're seeing in this video here. Check out his channel. I'm going to put a link both below in the description and at the end of the video. We started the project about noon, 12 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock, almost exactly, we decided to take a break, run into town to get the water pump. So that was 2 hours. After we returned, worked about another 15 minutes, something like that, on the project. And it was just starting to get warm, getting a little hungry, decided to just call it a day and then wait till the next day to do the radiator install and hook up the last of the hoses and stuff like that. So that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Savor the moment, and I'll see you next episode.